So let's start here where most consumers would start, which is at a Google search. And today I'm just going to sort of randomly pick, let's just say someone was in Philadelphia and they were looking for a personal injury attorney. Well, let's see what Google returns when we hit personal injury attorney. Alrighty, a ton of stuff. So this is great because this really demonstrates the difficulty that all of us have with making our attorney website marketing work for us. So let's look at, first of all, what's on this page. Of course, at the top of the page, you have 3 paid listings. So these folks are bidding likely a fair amount of money to be found at the top of Google for Philadelphia personal injury attorney. The folks over here on the right are bidding typically decreasing amounts, and we'll look at these Google AdWords here in a few minutes. But let's look at this from the consumer standpoint. Now, someone is looking for an attorney like you, and what do they find when they get to the first page of Google? And the question you want to ask yourself is there anything that would provoke an attorney or a consumer to click on my link if you were one of these lawyers showing up on this first page? I mean, the organic results don't even show up until down here a little bit. And of course, this is Google Local, which complicates things even further. So I think most consumers now know that these are sponsored links and these are sponsored links, and they pretty much are probably ignoring them, as you probably ignore TV commercials. But just looking around, you have to ask yourself, what would make someone click? I mean, here's a guy saying he has 20 years of experience. Another one saying that he is experienced, and this one here showing that they give free consults. Now, none of that is very inviting, frankly. Over here on the right, well, this is like a major AdWords error to run AdWords and then say call for a free consultation, so you don't have any way of knowing whether someone is actually saw this because of your AdWords. But none of these ads, maybe the unique doctor/lawyer team is a little bit different, but everyone else is saying basically the same thing. So, and let's look down at the organic search listings. Now, these are the websites that are placing because Google finds them to be highly relevant to the search term that we used, which was Philadelphia personal injury attorney. But even looking here, what we want to look at is not just the hypertext link, the blue part, but what's below it, because this really is the ad for the click. It's vital. Typically is drawn from the meta description when your page is set up, when your site is set up. There's a place not only for the content but for the meta description. And what you want to do is to figure out how to make that text be different and to really have a different message. Because, I mean, just look at these. Here we have wasted space repeating the firm name. Who cares? If they knew the firm name, they would have called you directly. Here we have again free consultation. Here, free consultation. Here, someone calling themselves among the preeminent law firms in the United States. A big deal. Almost anybody could say that. And so really, I mean, the Philadelphia market would be primed. Oh, here's someone who's serious about their success. As though you would want to hire a lawyer who is not serious about their success or about their cases or their clients. So it would seem to me that the Philadelphia area would be primed for someone who is smart about this. You'll also see that you're competing with about 935,000 different results. So let's look at what some of these sites are doing. First, again, none of them are very provocative, but let's just say a consumer says, well, the first organic listing is something Google finds relevant. So we'll go here to the Lowenthal and Abrams firm, and let's have a look. Again, all right, so here's the major mistakes here. Remember, you have literally nanoseconds to keep the consumer's attention and get them to dig in deeper to the site. But here's some quick, easy mistakes. First of all, up here in the top third of the space, they're using their logo and repeating their firm name. That's a huge ton of wasted space. The medical doctor on staff, okay, that's something that is unique. That may keep them interested. Let's click through that and see what happens. We have kind of a slow loading page, typically a flash page, but all this did was take them to a contact form. So the consumer was invited to click through because we talked about a medical doctor. How much better would this have been to talk about the benefits of having a medical doctor on staff, or to introduce the doctor, make this page about the doctor? So that's kind of useless. The do I have a case form, I mean, we just see this on every website, don't we? Again, a consumer who is looking for you is going to find that your website at least looks exactly like everyone else's. Client testimonials are very important. However, they're absolutely or almost absolutely useless if you're not using real names. So if you're going to get testimonials, get permission to use real names. Of course, you got to comply with your own state's bar ethical guidelines. But testimonials without names, cities, are virtually worthless in the marketing world. Here we have, of course, a $1 Million Advocates form. Maybe something a little different and interesting. Let's click on it, see what happens here. Oh, it takes them right out to the $1 Million Advocates web page. Okay, so the consumer could go there and then come back if they're still interested. Let's just look at the copy. First of all, you see that it takes an awful long time to get down to the copy. And now under this Philadelphia personal injury lawyers, this is very generic, one size fits all copy that, again, is nothing special. Look, folks, again, we have nanoseconds to get someone's attention. The goal of web advertising is to get the consumer who is in need of you to identify themselves to you so you can market to them one-on-one. And there really is no compelling reason here, and you'll see down here at the bottom of the page, talking all about themselves is again something that everybody can do. And the consumer didn't wake up this morning wanting to know where you went to law school or how many years you've had a practice. So spent a lot of time and money on the website. Position well, first organic listing on Google. But not a big converter, likely. I'll bet that website does not perform very well. Let's just look quickly at the number 2 site. Okay, the big graphic here. Now, I will point out one thing, is the little talking head down the right. That's effective. That's different. I didn't listen in to hear the whole spiel, but hopefully this attorney is inviting the consumer to do something. The We Specialize thing right on the front page kind of says we do a little bit of everything, and that type of copy and wording really shouts that we are more of a generalist than a specialist. Again, this copy is really one size fits all generic copy. So what's missing from these 2 websites that we've looked at is any copy that really enters the conversation that's going on in the consumer's mind. and there's not even a form or anything on this page. So again, a lot of time and money going into that site, no doubt. Um, but I would bet that it is not a huge conversion site. Let's look at these AdWords because, as we said earlier, people are spending a lot of money. Let's go up and look at this first one, and just curious as to what happens when somebody clicks on one of these things. What should be happening is that you have put in a sort of provocative text to really get the consumer to want to click through, and then you should be landing at a page that is very tied to that text. I'm betting that most of these Google AdWords go right to the main site of the law firm. Let's have a look. Oh, and there's a pretty, frankly, terrible looking website. So a lot of money being spent on Google AdWords to take them to our practice areas page, which says we do a lot of things, and also shouts to the subconscious that we are generalists. I was looking here, not even a contact form here. This is my opinion now, a real example of a misuse of Google AdWords money. I don't know if this attorney is running this or if some marketing firm thinks it's doing a good job. Let's go over here to the number 4 position. Again, no real reason to click on the link. Nothing very compelling. Oh, we have the picture of the dog and the gavel. So again, the question you would want to ask yourself is, in the nanoseconds you have to get someone's attention, can you do it, and can you get them to identify themselves to you? That's what real attorney website marketing is doing. So this has a bunch of sort of generic definitional text here. Again, a lot of money spent on Google AdWords and likely going nowhere. So let's look real quick. I just want to take a minute to show you, the Benglass Law site. It is definitely not the prettiest site you've ever seen. In fact, I get calls all the time from other web designers saying this is ugly, but it does produce 60% of our cases. It is a huge converter for us. It positions very well on Google. We'll go over here and just type, just look Fairfax accident attorney. Let's see. So one of our blogs shows up number 1, and 4th on the organic listings is the site. Now, let me just point out, and let's increase the size here a little bit. Look at the copy. Free consumer books on Virginia personal injury and car accident claims are available to Virginia residents. Something to compel them to click through to the site. And that's what you want to be thinking about. This is our blog up here before you talk to the adjuster at fairfaxaccidentattorney.com. Information for Virginia accident victims before talking to the adjuster. Well, no one else is saying that in any of these other descriptors of their sites. Again, we have sort of the same silliness with the Google AdWords here. But let's go back to the site. Notice that what we start with is a little bit of a provocative heading. What's so bad about a free consultation? Followed by 10 or 12 questions that we know consumers are asking. And each one of these questions really links through to a page or a video that is consistent with the words. And there's one of our Blackboard videos that we have up on YouTube.